Hey everyone, it's Chef Ben Davis here at the Roth Living Showroom for Sub-Zero Wolf and Cove in Denver, Colorado, here with a really quick preparation you can make for Valentine's Day, a quick and easy dark chocolate and chili truffle. Really is an easy preparation, something you can do in just, an afternoon so you can and share those with whomever you're going to celebrate Valentine's Day with this year. Most importantly, let's just remember that the single most important ingredient in any truffle is going to be the chocolate. So you're going to want to make sure that you take the time to go out and source some really good dark chocolate. I would recommend that you do something that is at least 60% cacao. You'll see that printed right on the label, but you definitely want to make sure that you're using chocolate that is 60% cacao content or greater, right? So depending on how bitter you would like it, obviously the greater the amount of cacao, the more bitter the chocolate will be. We do need to remember though, we don't want to use chocolate chips in any way, shape, or form because they do have stabilizers in them to keep them from melting under high heats, which is exactly what we're going to do with our chocolate. So we want to make sure that we're not using chocolate chips. So again, go out and source some good chocolate, good quality chocolate, and then you want to chop it into small bits just like this, right? Just get it all chopped up nice and fine. And then the other ingredients are really quite simple. We just have a little bit of heavy cream. We have some unsalted butter. I like to put a tiny bit of honey in mine, and then we've got a little bit of Ancho chili powder, but you can use any chili powder that you like. So if you'd like something a little smokier, you could use chipotle, or you could just use like a New Mexican style red chili, mild or hot, whatever you prefer. But you don't need very much. That's the other thing. Just a quarter of a teaspoon for this recipe, and this is 10 ounces of chocolate. And that's because you want the chocolate to be the star. We don't need the chili to be the star. It's just there as a little accent. Or obviously you can omit the chili completely, and you could add whatever other flavorings you like. You might want to put a little bit of a liqueur in there or something like that, so that you can substitute that as well. But truffle's really easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to start. We've just got a pot on our stove. We're going to add the cream, right? We just want to make sure that cream, gets nice and hot, right? We want to get it nice and hot, not boiling, but we want to definitely scald it. So just a minute or two on the heat to make sure that it just gets nice and hot in order to melt the chocolate, right? So we've got this on about a medium heat with our induction range. So we just want to get that nice and hot. And then you're going to add the chocolate and the butter. You're going to melt those together until it looks nice and smooth, right? So you want to make sure you're stirring it with a heat-proof spatula. Don't use a whisk. It'll just obviously get the chocolate caught up in it. But you want to just move it until the whole mixture is just nice and smooth. So now as our cream is just getting a little bit hotter, we're going to just give it a little more heat. There we go. All right. So now that the cream is warm, I want to just pour the chocolate in there. And again, 10 ounces of chocolate, about a half a cup of cream. This is about 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Again, just give that a stir so that everything melts. And I'll show you what it should look like at the end. Whoops, throwing a little cream on the cooktop there. But again, you want to just get it nicely melted. And again, not too much heat. All right. So we're starting to see it get nice and smooth. And the smooth quality is really what's important with the truffle, right? Now you can obviously go crazy with truffles, and you can temper chocolate to do dipped, to give it that nice hard outer shell. These are going to be a little more easy to execute. We're not going to go to the trouble of making a hard candy shell for the outside of our truffle. Rather, we can just roll them in a little cocoa powder at the end just to make them easier to pick up. Or you can roll them in other things. You can roll them, in some chocolate sprinkles or something like that, just to give them a little bit of a coating on the outside. Or you could roll them in, a little bit of powdered sugar, whatever you'd like once you have them nicely formed, right? When we're doing that. So we'll show you how to form them here. So now we're getting it nice and smooth. We have a nice shine to our chocolate, and we've almost got all the butter. The butter is going to take longer to melt in some ways than the chocolate. So we just want to make sure that it's fully incorporated. We don't want to have any chunks of butter in our smooth truffle filling. So what it'll do is once we've got this all put together, it's going to take, 40 minutes or so to chill down in the refrigerator, and then you can scoop them and roll them. A lot of times it helps to, once you've scooped them, chill them again, just so that they're easier to handle. And you want to handle them obviously very quickly, and you want them to be fully chilled before you start picking them up with your hands, because just your body heat can start to melt the chocolate and cause them to become misshapen a little bit, or obviously you end up with a lot of truffles stuck to your palms. It's not where we want it. We want it to obviously form as nicely as possible. So there we go. We're just about there. Butter's all melted. So now we're going to add our honey. So it's about a tablespoon of honey. I just like that flavor that the honey gives it. And last but not least, our chili powder. So now we're just going to stir that to get it beautifully smooth, shiny, glistening chocolate, right? See it in the pan. Don't need any more heat. We can turn that off. All right. So here's what you have. You have this beautifully smooth chocolate, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I can't roll that. Obviously, we're going to need to chill it. So I like to use just a small glass or metal baking pan. Makes it easier to scoop them when you're coming to form them later, as opposed to a bowl, which with the curvature of the bowl, it's hard to sometimes get your melon baller or your scoop flush against the side, so it's harder to extract them from the bowl. So I like to just pour the mixture. See how beautiful and smooth that is. I'm just going to pour that mixture, making sure we're scraping it out with our spatula, get everything out into our pan, and then into the refrigerator, like I said, for about 30 to 40 minutes, just until the chocolate is firm enough to scoop. So we'll be back in just a bit, and we'll scoop those up, pop it in the fridge right here. All right, so our ganache, our truffle filling has had a chance to chill, and you can see it's nice and kind of a dull finish to it, so you can see that it's ready to be scooped. Don't want to let it get too hard, enough that you can move it. So you're going to have some choices for how you want to scoop it out. If you don't have a small scooping, like a cookie scoop, you can use a melon baller. If you don't have either one of those, you can use a couple of spoons. You want to just get something that's about the size of a walnut, maybe a tiny bit smaller. And all you need to do is just kind of run your scoop in there, and I like to put it on some parchment paper first. So we'll just scoop some out. You can just see how much easier it is when you have this nice flat vessel to work with than it is from a bowl. And so you want to just get those nicely scooped. Now, if you're finding that at this point the chocolate is still a little bit soft, you can certainly put them back into the refrigerator, right? And let it chill just a little bit longer before you roll them in whatever coating you want to use, whether it's cocoa or some kind of chocolate coating or your powdered sugar, whatever you might like. Just want to know that they're easy to handle. And then I like to use a fork just to scoop them up, so you're not picking them up so much with your hands, and then just kind of toss them in this. And you don't have to make them perfectly round. They can be a little bit misshapen. True truffles, right, are not that round. And then just knock off the excess a little bit, and then just put them on something that you can then put them into the refrigerator and let them chill and hold until you're ready to serve it. Now, when you're ready to serve, make sure you bring them to room temperature, because chocolate is so much better when it's just a little bit warmer than refrigerator cold. So you definitely want to do that. So now you have some beautiful Ancho chili and dark chocolate truffles that you can make for Valentine's Day to impress that person that you're trying to impress. So anyway, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you again here at the Roth Living YouTube channel. Thanks so much.